What's up, guys? Welcome to the NiNe Show.
Where would this take them? Where is this current feeling or value set going to take them in the future?
Like
Yeah.
polar opposites. Like you're going that way, I'm going this way.
I mean this very literally. There's no emotion in how I did that. For me, it's just pure efficacy of recall.
I got sometimes like, oh, I have to human. I think that's the NI as opposed to any that just wants to see it in its totality, right?
Common point of what was that word you used, Jono?
What? What the? Yo, what the fuck? Okay, go on, go. Let's go.
I will chew you.
All right.
Welcome to the NiNe Show. We are four intuitive dominant types: ENTP, ENFP, INFJ, and INTJ. It's our goal to educate you on the objective personality system and typology, and as well as exploring new ideas and theories with you. Today, in the land of chaos, we'll be discussing SE as a savior versus SE as a demon.
Yeah.
This is going to be super fun. First, we'll go through what is SE. I think SE is a function that gathers new facts, new experiences, and seeks constant variety. We'll keep it real simple. But I will ask Jono right now if he has anything to add for that
Good
definition.
morning.
What is SE?
SE. What is SE?
You do live with SE, an SE type.
Yes, I do. Yeah, SE. So like SEs, obviously they focus on the spectrum of the sensory, and they're very good at like switching in between multiple different scenarios in real world context. An example is my girlfriend is if we're at the restaurant and we want to order some food, she's like scanning the whole menu and she's like, oh, this one looks cool. Oh, but I also like this one here because it has this. But this one over here is really cool because it has this thing. Oh, but I really can't decide which one I want. If I want this one or this one or this one or this one. And like that drives me crazy, right? I've got like demon SI. So it's like I just choose one and stick with it, right? So that's one example. They're really good at like seeing like the spectrum and seeing all the available options and like, quickly able to like weigh up the benefits between both. Yeah, that's my example.
All right. So anybody else got something? Odom, you have something?
Yeah, no, we got it pretty covered.
Got it covered?
Yeah.
All right.
Got it covered.
Cool. If no one else is going to just jump in, let's talk about it being a savior. I have plenty of examples living with Savior SE, knowing lots of friends that are Savior SE. I'm going to try to zoom through it real quick. So Savior SE is very much in the present moment. It's pretty reactionary, and is also comfortable with having many options, like you were saying, Jono. It's like SE as a savior seeks to have a variety of new experiences, new things to try, just new real reality like happening.
Yes.
They have a strong human need for gathering facts, physical things, and they'll know exactly how one thing differs from another as they can compare things on a spectrum of data. It's also reluctant to narrow down their choices. So let me give you another like real example. So if you go to an ice cream shop and there's only 5 flavors of ice cream, that's probably heaven for you, Jono, like with at least sensory, like, yes, I want this one. It's pretty simple, right?
Most of the time I go to an ice cream store, I'm like, where's the chocolate? I just want that. Great.
Yes,
Grabbing
right.
that,
Chocolate's so good, man. But SE will get so bored of that. They'll go there once and then probably want to go somewhere else. They would rather have 15 to 30 flavors, or they'll just go to like this ice cream shop with this different kind of chocolate or whatever to get like the most variety that they can. And in my opinion, that makes it really hard to make a decision. So if you're SEFI, it'd probably be easier, but that's another video.
Yeah.
Another quick example while I'm on my blaster mode. If a sales associate at a shoe store with Savior SE asked me what I was looking for, an NI type like myself would say, I'm looking for dress shoes. The SE sales associate will tell you, well, here are loafers, here are drivers, these are Oxford, these are the monks, these are the derbies, like, and then they'll go into which of the exact dress shoe is best for which occasion and for your style, and they'll make it so specific depending on what the context of this is. They'll take in like a ton of facts, and then after they got all this data, then they'll draw the conclusion. So that's why they're like asking me a ton of questions, and SE tends to be really good at sales, in my opinion. Opposite of NI is just going to narrow everything down. That's the only reason that they're asking questions. They're going to want to go faster and not really, worry about all those options. Alrighty, I'm done. Who would like to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'll go next. I don't really have examples, but I'll just talk about SE as a Saviour just in general. So Saviour SEs, they're very comfortable with the sensory, kind of similar to SI. But the main difference is the Saviour SEs kind of trust their ability to like deal with the sensory chaos more than the SIs. They're not like preparing ahead of time. They're just honing their skills, which allows them to deal with things in the moment. They're resourceful from themselves. So
true.
they're very good with like quick assessment, and so they themselves are able to deal with things better because they're always honing that. It's just a skill that they keep training. I think my girlfriend Saviour SE, and sometimes I can't think of a very clear example, but it'll just be usually like I'll ask for help for something. I'll ask a question like, oh, what do you do when you do this? Like, just so it's easier for me to do the thing. Like, she has information, trying to get that missing information. And she'll say something like, oh no, like just try to figure out yourself. And I'm like, oh, it's just easier though. But she'll always bring the point that like, yeah, but like if you just do it yourself, you will learn the inherent skills to kind of like pick things up as you go along. So she's obviously doing that all the time, hence why she would be good at that. So that's what the Saviour SEs are good at. And another thing about SEs that they're not necessarily stacking things on their plate. So like the opposite of that is if someone's Saviour NI like me or Leon, like we'll have say goals and outcomes stacked ahead of time, which puts pressure on us, and it almost creates chaos. It's like you've actually created an environment where you're pressuring yourself, so then it feels like chaos. But because the SE Savers are leaving things more open-ended, they don't have as much pressure, so they're open to the chaos. It's not chaos. It's just doing what you need to do in the moment. You don't feel the pressure of all these other things. You're just like, this is what I have in front of me, so my resources are completely attending to this. And you're not like overthinking things, and then you allow yourself to build the skills that it's like a weird knock-on effect. So that's the thing about having Saviour SE. So cool. they're good at that.
That makes a lot of sense, because like as you were saying that, I was thinking about my time in Africa just recently, and they're very SE over there. Like, something's supposed to start at 3 p.m. It's gonna start at 6:30 p.m. and it's like, dude, like when you're living life and you're in the moment and like you're not thinking about that future thing so much, like you're not stressed at all. Like, dude, I had such a great time there and I learned a lot, but back in America, I'm just like back to this Saviour game of like what's gonna happen next.
Land.
Yeah, and it's very different, but that's a great point. Cool. Great point.
I actually had a few more examples with SE. I just realized I took some notes for this class.
Yeah, totally, go for it.
Just real quick, so like I didn't mention like the spectrum of things like like with the sensors and that kind of stuff. So like the SC dominants that I know, they're very in touch with the senses. Like they love smells, they love taste, they really love food and that kind of stuff. A lot of them also anecdotally would be like into sports and physical activity, being able to like move their body and just be engaged in like the sensory world around them. Another thing as well is I noticed that they really love to, like, especially the EPs with SE, like they just love gathering things. So a friend of mine who's an ESFP, masculine SE, like you go to his house and there's things everywhere. Like there's no real order. Like you go to his kitchen, he has he's a great cook. He's got all this mad stuff, like things to use to cook, like machinery and like kind of appliances.
All the gadgets,
and they're
right?
just literally like all the gadgets for the kitchen. They're just all out, like on the bench, and there's like hardly any bench space available. He's got like these knives out. He's got this big machine. He's got a massive coffee machine. He's got like, so everything is in like, arm's reach, like just around. You know what I mean? There's no logical order or sequencing or like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, totally. Like I, for instance, have we keep our pans and pots that we use every day on the stove, ready to go. Like we don't put it away because we're just gonna take it out again. It's just easy to reach.
Yeah.
Same
This is anecdotal though. This is anecdotal, so don't go saying, "Oh, I do this, so I'm SE dominant."
Yeah, I think it's very much like it's a good way of seeing like the difference between SI and SE. Like, yeah, because even like between me and you, like, because we both use Notion, which is like an application where you can, I don't know what you'd call it. You kind of store information. It's like you store any documents.
Almost like a note-taking app.
Note-taking app just to put stuff on.
Endless possibilities with it though.
Exactly. You can do anything on it. And the way me and Jono have set it up is like, I guess you kind of followed the way I did it, but I remember telling you like I like to lay it out. So all my documents are in front of me, so like I can just access it. So I don't know if like that's just having SE. I don't even know. Because I don't like things stacked. I don't like things within like things within things within things.
Things within
like,
a thing within.
Yeah,
I
don't like things
organized.
stacked. So so it's like a simple difference there. But like good examples, man. Good examples.
What is our resident ENTP
Asees hasn't said
have to say?
anything in a while.
Is he?
He's been thinking. I'm expecting some profound wisdom.
He's not engaged in the SE. He's in the NT world right
He's
now.
like, I have no desire to get engaged with SE right now.
So I'll just preface this with SE is probably the function I least understand, which is why I've been so quiet. But I do have some things that I can relate to from the 2 or 3 people that I know that do have SE as a savior. So my girlfriend, I'm pretty sure she's FE. She always gets on my case because my favorite foods are burgers and pizza.
Oh, nice.
Burgers and pizza. And so anywhere that I go, that'll always be the first place I check on the menu. And if I see a bacon hamburger,
yes, dude, that's like me, dude.
It's hard to mess up. It's hard to mess up a bacon hamburger, right? And I'm so sensitive about wasting my money that I'm like, if there's a bacon hamburger or a pizza that looks good, it's a meat pizza, and especially when it has pictures on the menu, and I'm like, okay, that's what it looks like, so it's gonna be good. Then I'll just go for it. But rarely will I deviate to like pastas or
yes.
Like, I'll never do salads or something because I'm just so like I don't want to waste my money. I know what I like. I'm just gonna stick to that. I'll have different types of those. I'll have like a avocado egg burger, but I would rather do that before I do a different type of pasta. And she'll get on my case. She's like, no, you need to try stuff. You need experience. I'm like, I am trying stuff. I just am trying stuff differently than you. Chill out. And she, oh man, I used to get really mad at her because she would change her social media name so much. I was confused as to whether or not she was who she was.
Yeah, actually, I picked up on that too. I
was
like, but the image is the same. Like, there are all kinds of people with this image on it, and like, oh, that's okay. I get it.
No, she'll change everything. She'll change her image. She'll change her bio. She'll change her name.
Then who was following us?
Change entire accounts sometimes. I'm like,
identity. She's changing her identity, dude.
Literally,
that's so funny.
It's hard to follow.
Multiple DIs.
Just
I'm like, you got to tell me before you leave. I'm like, okay, like if
Asees
it's the same
playing
thing,
the OI.
That's so good, man.
I do have to.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. I am.
Asees, when you said the thing about the menu, like immediately, like I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I do. Open the menu, and then my eyeballs will automatically be drawn to one thing. Usually, if it has the word chili in it, if it has the word chili, I'm like, okay, I'm getting that.
Chili
so
means
good.
penis in Chamorro language, so that's really funny. You love chili.
Okay, I'll make sure I won't go to Chamola and order the chili there.
A good idea. Okay, wait, back to his idea. We didn't let him finish, man. Excuse us.
Yeah, let him finish.
So yeah, she's always getting on my case about that. And she has that that masculine NI. So she's such a good planner though. I mean, but that's relative to me, and I'm shit at planning. But when she planned our entire day one time. We went to the big city, and we spent the whole day there. We went to a really cool interactive museum, and then we went to the botanical garden. And that was the whole day.
Nice
she had it the entire day organized. Like, okay, so we're gonna take a bus. We're gonna take the train here, and we'll take the bus that way. And I'm like, oh wow, you did that. But like the way, like what we did, it was so different. It was like, okay, we're gonna go to the museum. Now we're gonna go to the gardens. I'm more of like, okay, let's spend one day at the museum doing everything we can, because I still wanted to do some things at the museum, but we didn't do that. But because I know that I want to explore everything in the museum and then move on. But she's like, no, we explored that thing, and then now we're going to go explore. That's the exploration.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Which was fine. It was still fun. So that's with her. It's so focused around doing the new things, and then how can I get the most fun out of it. Whereas with my two SETI friends, they're very facts. One has masculine SE, masculine TI, and one has masculine SE, feminine TI. Oh God, the masculine Savior's one he's just a news reporter. Like that's all he does. Like we have a group chat, and he will just inform us on like, oh, this political candidate did this, or oh, the video game release. This was all of the things that happened at the video game release that obviously that we care about. And then oh, the Reddit thing. Oh, that's what happened. It's a little aggravating. But, it's sort of like through that. It's like SE, particularly masculine. I find tends to take things the most literal, which isn't a slight. It's just like they're the most focused on worrying about like they are the most like hard drive or like CPU.
Right.
You know, it's just
Black and white.
sort of unnerves me, because it's like they almost catch me on all my shit.
Yeah, man, it hits you right in your feminine SI. Like,
Right. Like, oh, hey, you
like,
said
it's
this.
like,
Do you mean
dude.
this?
yeah.
Like, no, I don't mean that. Like, try to take everything just take all the things I'm trying to say and
Right.
then figure it out. Don't try to like take pieces of information.
Right, exactly. I remember we, my friend and I we sit at the same table at in our English class, and our teacher loves poems, so that's what we do a lot of the time. Because it's quick, it fits in the day, whatever. I wrote a poem, and he asked me if I made a mistake, and it's like, no, bro, that was intentional.
Dude,
It's like he thought that something I did was like, you didn't try to. Oh my god!
Didn't he say like, "Are you okay?" or something like, "This is so modern. Are you okay?" Or
no, that was the teacher.
Yeah, that was the teacher. That was cute
my
though.
friends know how much I want to kill myself. So yeah, so it's sort of like that. Like he would rather ask about like what I actually wrote instead of trying to like suspend his disbelief. If you know, if it had come to him in the first place, which it does, I find with the censors, particularly Asees, he would instead of doing that, he would just rather be like, what is this? Like he wants me to explain it. It's like I literally told you, what do you like? Why you ask me that question? But
Oh, man.
yeah, they tend to take things emotionally.
Yeah, I like it's interesting because like this is like that's more that's more like a relationship between your functions and theirs. So
Yeah.
it's like that it's creating that dynamic, which is interesting. Like to me, my experience of SE is different, but like yeah, it's cool seeing your like how you relate to it.
Well,
It's pretty
dude,
cool.
yeah, but that's like that's like somebody with masculine FE hitting me with their masculine FE when I have feminine FI.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, yeah.
you know, if you put it in your perspective, like a Saviour feminine FE talking to you, Odom, is going to be super weird to you, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's probably a comparison. Well, here I
Maybe
go
feminine FE.
comparing the spectrum of data right now. And speaking of Demon SE, we're going to move on to that real quick so I can get
Yes.
another chance to talk because you guys, no, I'm just kidding. So real quick, Demon SE, as quick as I can at least, differs from Saviour SE in that it prefers to be focused on the future most of the time and ignoring the present. So an example is when I'm in a store shopping, I'm only thinking about how much time do I have before I need to leave this store in order to have time for my next activity that I planned. And if I'm scheduled to like eat lunch or something with somebody at maybe 1300, which is 1 o'clock for those of you that don't know, and it's like 1330, when they get to the restaurant, I'm like stressed because I'm like constantly thinking about I need to leave in 45 minutes. And then I need to accomplish my other obligations and plans, but then I don't enjoy the moment that I'm in because like we were saying earlier, it's like I'm constantly thinking about what's next. Like my
Yeah,
present moment.
that's what I was talking about when I was saying like the NIs will create like out expectations that creates the chaos. So like imagine someone with SE like they don't have any plans, so it's like, oh, this can go on, like it's fine. But like because you've like created like some structure in your life, it's like it makes chaos out of it, you know. So that's an example of what I mean.
Yeah, and also like having inferior SE will use like a small, minute amount of facts and experiences that we've gathered to make a conclusion of something in a very big picture way and typically it's generalized. But we use those small amount of facts and experiences to create like a vision of where we want things to go. But then it's like pretty inaccurate a lot of the times because there's a huge lack of information with intuitive pattern without the data, you know. So it's a very idealized vision and it's unrealistic most of the time. What do y'all think about that? I want to hear from Jono.
Yeah,
Hear from me.
Processing a lot.
Yeah, I have. So, not specific to what you just said, but kind of related. I kind of wrote some things around Demoness. Oh, this is Demon SE. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So three things. One, these are just really like high level kind of definitions, but I'll go into a bit of detail. So one thing is with Demon SEs, they'll generally seek the facts out later. So they kind of are more on board with like intuitive ideas and concepts.
Yeah, like what's the point, right?
Exactly, right? And frameworks that they've, you know, figured out in their brain. But, you know, and with obviously with Demon SE, there's like a little bit of a disregard for the sensory, a bit of the new like information. Another problem with that is, you know, if they're kind of very geared towards their saviors and not trying to focus on the demons and growth minded, they can likely be on board with like just jumping on assumptions. So like they may get this, oh my gosh, I saw this thing and it means this. Like kind of like just getting these random like intuitive bias ideas around a specific topic, and not necessarily, if they're not like open-minded or on like growth mindset, like they will just kind of disregard real facts that prove it to be otherwise
yeah,
true.
confirmation bias, right? Yeah.
Yes. everyone does confirmation bias, but I think that intuitives that aren't really aware of themselves or type can probably be the worst at this.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially like
Especially
I
the
said,
fake
if they're not open.
intuitive.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What's the fake intuitive?
You know, never mind. We'll talk about it later. If you don't get it, you're not intuitive.
Wow.
You're so
yeah,
typist, Leon.
yeah,
I
man.
know. I'm just playing, dog. All right.
So that's one point. I'll try to keep the other two a bit more pointy. Like I said, keeping information away. Disregard for new facts. Like just keep it at bay. No, I have this idea. Stay away facts. There's too many. Especially doesn't line up with ideals. Some people that I've spoken to throughout life, I just notice that they're just very stuck in their pointed beliefs. Especially if they're very religious. This is not a dig at anyone that I know at all, because I know, Leon, you're not religious, but people that are religious, people that I've met, they kind of are more on board with like diving in on their
Very specific perspective. Yeah.
Can you be a little more ST clear? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, like people that, you know, that are like very much live by the rules of a specific religion and stuff like that. Like they can be more all in on their intuitive bias.
Yeah, like you like they'll gather information regarding that belief, but they're not trying yeah. It's just I get what you're saying. I'm not gonna try to fix that.
Help me like
doesn't need fixing. It was fine, bro.
Help me clarify this, because I think people are freaking out now based on what I'm saying. Anyway.
Oh, so like it's like you're learning, so you're picking up facts based on it's not quite confirmation bias. It's just having the SE come in just based on the way you see things and like to reinforce, you know, whatever thing you believe in, but you're kind of stuck in that phase of your life for like a long time because you're only collecting facts based on that. But like other people generally mature and change their perspectives a lot because they're gathering a lot of different facts. So like it's not
open, or they're open to specific facts that line up with their that's what I'm trying to say. I have demon ST, so don't take anything I say literally. And another example is, just as real quick, like most people with demon SE, they tend to ignore devices or things they have to the point where they break. So an example is like a car. Sometimes they'll notice like a sound, or there's like some kind of sensory thing happening to the car that they're just like,
Leon knows.
They don't maintain their devices. If it's like some kind of sensory thing happening, it's like, oh, I'll do it later. Ignore jumping in it and doing it and fixing it.
I literally have on my car, my check engine light has been on for 2 years, and it's never.
Maybe you should check the engine.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't even know which one's the engine, bro. Like, someone else has to do that.
It's too much engine.
Yeah.
Camshaft, crankshaft, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. Because I don't know when to jump in, so I'm gonna jump in now. Yeah, so I actually, what Jono was saying, like I relate to what he's saying, because the first, like when you said about how the facts come in later, like when something's presented to me, like something new, like I don't need many facts to just kind of be on board with it. I'll be like, oh, this seems legit enough. I'll clarify later. I'll verify it later, but I'll be open to it, then verify it. Like I'm very like, so like let's say someone says, oh, look at this thing. I'm like, oh, it's similar to this other single fact, but later on I'll verify it more like thoroughly. So that I relate to that. And then just some other things about Demon SE from like my personal experience. So it's just like stress dealing with unfamiliar sensory. So like my SE fears and struggles revolve around incompetence. So like that might be my T as well. I want to be competent, but I want to be as competent as everyone else when dealing with things, like literally, like, you know, things. I want to just be able to just do it. So since like the demon sensory people can't quite rely on their like SEing skills, like the observational and assessment skills, the demon SE people kind of have to develop concepts or ways of doing things that make them more adaptable, like in the face of chaos. And like Tim Ferriss, like he wrote an entire book about basically that. Like it's the 4-hour cookbook or something, but it's just a book about learning. He has like concepts about how to
cook.
basically actually half of it is cooking, and then the other half is like he's
Nice.
explaining how it's like these learning principles.
So he takes you through the ST, and then he's like, okay, now this
is the
how we
principle. Yeah,
framework it.
Exactly, yeah. So he's saying how like we're applying this to cooking, but really you can actually apply this to everything. And he has like it's DSSS, so it's like you have to deconstruct the thing. I'm not gonna go into it, but it's like he goes through concepts and like frameworks of thinking. So that's what the intuitives have to do. If they have like demon SE.
I would
Very
like
nice.
to ask Asees to give a moment, like tell a story of a demon SE moment that he's noticed in one of us, or even just by somebody that's pretty funny. Maybe we'll come back.
Dude,
Oh man. Okay, which one? There's so many.
Narrow down.
There's.
Do my
I
saviors.
would say it's like sort of you when you asked me to organize your bathroom, like not your entire bathroom, but the way that you you and Nika put your guys's things on the bathroom, so like your toothbrushes or whatever. It was weird because like all I did was I just gave everything its place. And you were like, help me, bro. Like, come on, help me. I don't know what to do. And all I did was just give everything its room and like just fit it inside the space that was allotted. And you're like, oh my God, bro, I didn't even think of this. And I'm like, okay. I'm trying to come up with one for you, Odom.
Maybe we can take a little break, and you can process it while we go over some.
We should play some intermission music in the clip. Doom, 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 doom.
So some pros of SE. So SE can compare one physical thing to another, and figure out which is better for what situation or occasion. An example could be like wool or silk is better for cold weather, and cotton and linen is better for warm weather. Foods that go well with citrus would be like chicken piccata or fish, and they're complemented with Pinot Sauvignon Blanc or whatever. Fatty foods like steak need a bold red wine or
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, it's like SE is the master of knowing like what's best for the occasion, I think. And they can get pretty detailed. So I mean, I think that's a really good thing. And
yes,
always have to be organized.
Yes. You just reminded me of something that happened literally yesterday. Wait, yes, yesterday was Valentine's Day. So my girlfriend, she made
marketing day. Do you mean marketing day?
Yes, unfortunately. The cost so expensive. But she made me this basket of things, and she made it blue themed because blue is my favorite color, and so she had gummies, she had chips, flour. The basket was blue. The cookies. She made this like assorted basket, and I'm just like, one, how did you come up with this? Two, how did you manage to fill it with everything that you needed? Like it just at every level of analysis, like that just blew me away. That she was able to do that, and like
double observer.
Right, and because she was like, she came to me, she's like, I'm having trouble with making your gift, and I'm like, because she needed me to think, and I'm like, okay, what's the thing? Because like she told me this like a long time ago, and I'm like, and she knows that if she tells me something that I don't really, or that isn't like useful, I'm just not going to remember that I know about it. So she asked me, how long do chips stay stale, or how long until they get stale? And I'm like, you can just check on the package. And she's like, oh, okay. She didn't know that little SI thing, but so she came to me for that. But she, other than that, like that was like just blew me away. Like I could never do something like that. Like I'm like money or a gift card. Like that's it. Like,
did she play your favorite song? I'm blue. Da, ba, dee, da, ba, da, like what she gave it to you?
I'm so bad.
Were you guys even alive when that song came out?
When did it come out?
We have the internet.
It was like 99, I think. I was
Yeah, I was
7.
born. I was 4. I was like 4 years old.
I was like 12, I think.
I think my parents were planning for me.
Dude, they were though.
They're painting a bedroom, dude. I'm blue, and they're just like running the wall.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Yeah. They are the best with knowing what's best for the occasion, because they know everything to pick from.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like you have all of the data, and so that when you're not retarded or being retarded, it's so simple after the fact, because it's like, here are all the options.
Being retarded.
Here are all of the relevant options, and so then here's the best one for the context.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like SE saviors can't intuition. It's almost like it feels like they don't want to. Like that's what it feels like. Whereas for me, it's like it's almost as if like if you saw me in real life, you'd think I'm a fucking idiot. Like I do not like. It's like I can't. That's what it feels like. For sensory types, it feels like they have good eyesight, but they don't look. And for intuition types, it's just like, we need glasses, but then because we don't wear the glasses, it's like, where are my glasses?
Yeah.
Like, what a great concept, bro.
Yeah.
How did you do that, bro? That's so good.
I agree with like what you guys are saying, hardcore. Yeah, and like just to add on to that, it's like that makes them generally very, very adaptable. Like they can make the best out of what they have in front of them, and like seize it to like get the most useful outcome of any like situation. So it's like maximizing resourcefulness, like because they have that awareness to like take everything in as it is, and they're just tracking that. So they're just extremely resourceful, and I like, in a funny way, they almost have more control in the present moment than an NI person would. Like an NI person wants control, but because they're like off somewhere else, they don't actually have control. But the SE person actually has more control because they just have the utility. Like they're able to do what they need to do. So it's just a funny thing. But yeah. Jono, you can add whatever you want to add to that.
What have we been up to? Pros,
just demons.
Oh my God, where were you?
I started this point, bro.
Yeah.
I started this point. Let's move on to pros of SE. I think pros of SE is, well, it's kind of a theory, but I think all of the extroverted functions are probably the most desirable and most useful in life. But everyone has 2 extroverted functions, so everyone's half as useful as they should be. Imagine someone had like 4 extroverted functions. Like, what would that look like?
Yo, that would be definitely a disorder. Like
disorder. I wonder if there's a disorder that exists today because of extroverted
They quadruple disagree with their type.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so pros of being SE. Yeah, I mean, look, SE dominant, or even SE in general, I think has a better ability at just being more present in the moment. They're not probably necessarily narrowing down their experiences and the things around them, so they're not in their head as much in that regard. But they're just able to enjoy the meat and bones and flesh of this world a little bit better, I think. At least, you know, be more engaged and be able to interact with the environment, and move with the environment, and just kind of like, just be here on this planet. And not
do your
like,
best impression of Saviour SE right now.
Saviour SE.
And do it. Yo, I swear he's SE. Like that's Shia LaBeouf, right? Like just do it. Do it.
Yeah.
I swear he's SE. Like
I
that's
shouldn't
just
be
my
yelling. It's 6 a.m. in the morning and there's people sleeping.
I totally like typed Daniel Radcliffe off of like a 6-minute video or something of him like holding up these Google search cards, and like after every one of them he was like boom, like just chucking it across the room. I'm like, bro, masculine SE right there. Like, but that's just an assumption. Anyways, anybody got anything else for pros? Asees, you said something. Are you guys going once?
Nah, we can move on to the cons.
Okay, cons. So I'll go first because I like going. It takes a long while to have understanding with SE. They're easily distracted by things, and I feel like a lot of the times, like, time is wasted because of that. They always want something new. They always want some variety, but it usually makes it harder for them to make a decision, in my opinion. Yeah. And
Yeah, I think
Odom.
so.
So the future is always coming. You know, tomorrow is always coming, and if you aren't prepared for it, it will hit you in the head regardless. And the surprise of when it does hit you in the head then becomes like an observer freak out for like the Saviour SEs. If you know, in boxing and martial arts, if you don't pay attention to what's coming, you're gonna get hit. And the role of NI is to see what's coming so you know to duck. So because of that, if you're Saviour SC, you're probably going to be taking a lot of like unnecessary hits because you're like over relying on your SE skills to like, you know, maneuver as it comes. But, you know, it's more the case of kind of, you could make your life easier as a, like, you know, you have all the utility and the skills, but you may as well make your life easier kind of thing. So yeah, that's a con of having SE above.
What do you guys think about like a con of SE is the, you know, the polarities of the NI is that the SEs are more probably looking for concrete information and then focused on real facts, and the NI being an introverted function, it really is, it has to narrow things down. So
yeah,
what I'm trying to say is NI versus NE. NE is probably more, people who have NE are probably more aware of intuition or intuitions because of the spectrum, right?
the
But
stimulus,
if they
and they're
have
being
NI,
stimulated all the time with stuff.
exactly. With the NI, whether it's maybe more cases if it's a demon, the NI is not as, they're not as aware of it potentially, of it being a thing, so they're more focused on the concrete.
The thing is,
need
what
facts.
It's quite interesting though, because if so, you're kind of saying the by having NI when you're Saviour SE, it makes the intuition even more of a demon than if it was demon NE, right? Which,
yeah, so
like, I can
comparing like an ISTJ to an
yeah.
ISTJ.
And the interesting thing is, if I flip it to FE and FI, I think demon FE is harder to get a hold of than demon FI, because demon FE like need other people. Demon FI like you can do it alone. So I don't know, like it's the opposite of the observers though, because I can see what you mean though with the NE and NI. It's just interesting that it seems opposite. Maybe
I was about to make a stupid NI kind of analogy, and then I want to see what Jono has to say about it, or Asees with their NE.
Sure.
I was going to say something along the lines of, like, back to martial arts. Let's just say boxing. Like, the extroverted function will know when to jab, how to jab, and when to cross, how to cross, hook, uppercut, and which arm to use. And the introverted function will have its preference and be like really good at using that one arm or using that one or two punches but when it comes to having to use a different kind of punch, it just totally misses. That's just like
it's
what
awkward.
I was now. But what about you, any peeps? What do you think about that? Is it like a stupid analogy? Because I don't know.
Knowing which limb to
Like-
use in a fight.
like so there you go. That answered my question. All right, cool. It's
Cool.
like the way that I delivered that. I don't know. Just move on.
Oh man.
Jeez, we're so energy dominant.
That
Man.
was-
Does anyone pay
yeah.
attention to us? Rate our information out of 10.
What,
Rate our energy
where
out of
else
10.
would it go? Where else would
So
this energy go?
with cons of SE, some of the things that I've noticed with SE types that really just royally piss me off to no end. It's like they're so focused on. It's not even facts, because facts that's more of an ST slant. They're so much focused. They're so focused on contending with the literal information of the thing that they are interested in, whether it's this one video game that they really like, or politics, or OP. They're so focused with contending with, oh, that's a thing, and that's a thing, and that's a thing, that they don't focus on, does it matter? How does it fit into the big picture? And big picture, like that's more of an anything, but it's like they're not like trying to make sense.
Could you give an example, like where you got into it with someone, like over a certain situation, and they saw it in a certain way, you were like, whoa, you're like retarded.
So I was talking with an SCTI friend, and I said something, and whether or not it was right or wrong doesn't matter. I also don't know, because they decided to fight me on it instead of saying that's wrong or right. But that's kind of the point. It's like, instead of understanding that what I said didn't actually matter, they almost died on that hill. Thankfully, I managed to maneuver myself out of that situation. But it's like that thing that I said doesn't matter. Don't take it literally. Come on, you should know me better. Two, reference what I said with everything else, with me, with the topic of the conversation, something. If it doesn't make sense, don't get so hung up on it. It's just another piece in the context. Not every piece has to make sense for you to make sense of it.
Yeah, man. I get that. I understand that frustration. It's hard though, because it's like because it's our savior. Like, it's so obvious to us. So like we want them to do something that seems like it's the norm, but to them it's like the flip. But yeah, I feel the same way. I tried to like reason with myself, because I'm like, I'm probably in some capacity frustrating them in this, like the same way, like something they think is where I'm not doing something where their saviors are right for that situation, and it's like they're like, come on, dude, and I just don't know. I'm completely blind to it. Sorry?
I said this is cons of SE, not cons of Odin.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I do have a con of SE that I thought about when you were speaking, Asees. It's like, though people are like gathering all these facts and like trying to be so specific with the like reality of things and the information, a lot of facts are just straight not true. Like, they're just made up facts. And I think we talked about that one time, where you can like gather all these facts, but all these facts could actually be wrong or be updated in a few years and be thoroughly examined. So now they're not even
the
true.
definition of a fact.
But
your
they
distrust
believe
of
that it's
facts is showing.
Huh?
Your distrust
okay,
of
there you go.
facts is
But, like,
showing.
for real, though, some people could just lie to you, and you could believe it because, oh, it's a fact.
Yeah, but you have to
That's
clarify the
why-
fact.
You have
Just
some
because someone
ethics,
said
but
something
you're a
doesn't mean
liar,
it's a
though.
fact.
Right, but
Yeah, like I could be wearing a lab coat and like a badge that says doctor, and I could show you a piece of paper with a diploma on it, but I just printed it out and I took this from some other guy and I put my name on it. You don't know.
Yeah, what you're saying is true, but it's also like
It's
like
rare.
it's not good to assume facts are true. It's better to assume this is what I think now, and over time it will be updated. Like whether it shows to be true, then it's like fine, we'll keep going with it. Until then, do you know what I mean? So like what you're saying is true. Don't assume facts are true. Assume that I'm going with this for now. It could be wrong or right in the future, and I'll keep aware of what shows it to be true or not, kind of thing. So
Depends how you define fact.
what is? I'm gonna have to Google this.
Because literally, like from my perspective, a fact is truth. It's a piece of information that is true.
A thing that is known or proved to be true. But the thing is, like, this will get really philosophical. But like, in epistemology, which is like the philosophy of like how we know things to be true. There's like empirical knowledge where like we're verifying it through the senses. And then there's rationalism, and there's different contexts where empirical data is what you want to rely on, and another context where your rational information is. So it like we don't actually know what is true. Like we're kind of relying on like empirical information, but it's limited because reality goes beyond what we can see. So we're always like, even in science, there's so many different paradigm shifts, like where like rely, like even in quantum physics, like we're learning how like, oh, the way we thought things to be true before, the way we saw them is actually not true. So then we're updating our information. So facts are true for the moment, and then the more we learn,
Oh wait, that thing is now not true.
Yeah, I don't think truth is ever changing. I think it's always consistent. But you know, that's why it's like it's fun to have low consume.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun to watch low consumes.
Oh man, there's a lot of...
Speaking of low consume, I was ripping my skin off as you were speaking.
Shit.
Oh damn, that's some demon SE right there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up so people's attention spans.
Yeah.
So we were talking about SE today, as a savior versus demon. You know the deal. Follow us, like us on social media and YouTube, and share this with your friends, family, your ancestors, your futures, and family.
Dog,
all the SE categories.
Yeah, all the SE categories.
The spectrum of SE.
For real.
Post this in MBTI groups, please.
Yeah, and start a discussion in the comments. Start a discussion in all these MBTI places.
Yes, please do all of our marketing for us. That would be very handy.
Yeah, we're low play. We can't be doing all this by ourselves. We need you guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time in the land of chaos.
Don't take anything we said literally.
Peace out.